made the choice that they're afraid of being criticized. Like, the fact that she doesn't have a shoe is one of the dumbest marketing decisions in sports history. Like, it wasn't crazy when you watched Caitlin Clark at Iowa for somebody at Nike to get on the phone and be like, hey, we got to have a Caitlin Clark signature drop for her first game in the WNBA. Let's figure out what it looks like. And, oh, somebody else doesn't have a shoe. Tough shit, all right? That's reality.
Nike just fumbled again, and Caitlin Clark fans are livid.
Starting at guard, 6 foot from West Des Moines, freshman of the year, player of the year, winner of the Staley, Sullivan, Wade, Lieberman, Naismith, Wood, and several other last name awards. A 2-time All-American first team, 3-time All-Conference first team, 3-time assist leader, 10-time won't miss leader, 2-time tournament most outstanding player, current even more outstanding player. Conference player of the year, player of the month, player of the week, player every minute, owner of the conference 3-point record, free throw record, triple-double record, the Iowa State Fair shooting record, the women's all-time NCAA leading scorer, and your new all-time NCAA leading scorer, Caitlin Clark.
Nike just made a mistake once more, and fans of Caitlin Clark are furious.
At the start of this year's WNBA season, it was announced that Caitlin Clark signed a massive endorsement deal with Nike. This deal was for 8 years, $28 million with a signature sneaker included. Now, at the time, a lot of us were so excited about this. Nike is obviously the biggest brand in athletic apparel, and Caitlin seemed to be a perfect fit for the brand. $28 million at the time, while some people, including myself, were saying that this might be a little bit too low because of the superstar that she is, it seemed to be like a fantastic deal.
Among the most popular sports, global brands had a golden chance to honor women's the best basketball player, yet they blew it.
Yeesh, guys. It's wild that a league would do this to the one person in their 20-plus years of existence who could actually pull them out of obscurity and into the spotlight. For the last decade, they've practically been begging for money at every turn.
I do feel like the pay gap would be something that, we could just take a donation around the NBA.
Fans are calling out Nike on social media, unveiling the brand snub in a way never seen before, and, to be honest,
obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me, honestly. I felt like I got good shots, they just didn't go down. And obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three wide open threes in the first half that you usually make. So that's tough, but I felt like I battled and tried my best. Took care of the ball better than I usually do, which is a positive. But overall, coach in the locker room, we were down 3 in the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game. The flow of the game was really bad. I don't know if that was the referee, and that is probably partly us, because we struggled to get stops at times, but also the clock getting messed up. It was just one thing after the next, but overall, it didn't bother me. Obviously, it didn't feel too good when it happened, but it is what it is.
you must not be demanding. You cannot be unrelenting or put yourself first, so prioritize yourself. Cannot be confident, therefore have faith in yourself. Can't challenge, so you can't challenge. Control, so dominance is impossible. You can't fill a stadium, flex, so fill. You can't be sentimental in that stadium, so be sentimental. You cannot claim credit for it. You can't be so ambitious or speak up. You cannot break records or have any. Fun cannot be demanded or maintained. No matter what you do, you can't stand out score. You are unable to win, so when it's true that the internet is a burn with annoyance, and it's obvious. This is not the first instance of Nike creating Caitlin Clark as a last-minute idea.
You can't be demanding. You can't be relentless. You can't put yourself first. So, put yourself first. You can't be confident. So be confident. You can't challenge. So challenge. You can't dominate. So dominate. You can't flex. So flex. You can't fill a stadium. So fill that stadium. You can't be emotional. So be emotional. You can't take credit. You can't speak up. You can't be so ambitious. You can't break records. You can't have any fun. You can't make demands. You can't keep score. You can't stand out. Whatever you do, you can't win. So win.
Let's analyze the criticism and the reasons behind it. May collapse is perhaps the most significant. Recent marketing failures prior to. We dig right in. Remember to like and share. And follow our channel to learn more. In-depth analyses of sports disputes and breaking news. Let's talk about it.
Too much of everybody else and not too much of the person who I actually know. You can't fill stadiums, so fill stadiums. Sorry to be petty tendergrass over here. Of everybody that they showed in that commercial, no one can fill a damn stadium except for Caitlin.
The new WNBA air from Nike during prime time immediately following the Super Bowl. Ideal opportunity to highlight the fans of the league's rising stars anticipated. Caitlin Clark will take center stage. Instead, a Ja Wilson Juju appeared in the advertisement. Sha'Carri Richardson, Watkins, and Sabrina Ionescu is undoubtedly a fantastic player, but there is no mention of Caitlin's name. This fans weren't simply let down by admittance. Angered them. Just think of omitting the player who has created the most buzz for more women's basketball players than any other. It's like releasing an NBA advertisement this year. Leaving out LeBron James. Caitlin is what drives ticket sales for the Fever are soaring, and the rumors about her is more than simply hype. It's earned.
So she met with 3 finalists. Under Armour, Stephen Curry was part of that pitch meeting. I'm told the plan in that scenario would have been for her to be a part of Under Armour and Curry brand and possibly wear Curry brand. So Curry brand is basically a standalone, kind of like what Jordan brand is for Nike for Stephen Curry.
Smart by the Curry team, sure.
And so Steph Curry actually FaceTimed into the meeting, talked to Caitlin Clark, talked to her parents.
You gotta show up in person, Steph. Like that.
Well, he's also got a season.
Seal the deal. Okay,
There's a lot going on.
Got it.
And I think Caitlin Clark, Stephen Curry, this is not the end for them, I think.
The annoyance simply grew worse when fans saw that Nike was hardly mentioned. Despite winning Rookie of the Year, thank you. Merchandise fans enjoyed the advertisement. Wasn't merely a mistake, it was disdain. And they're criticizing Nike for being difficult.
You can't be demanding. You can't be relentless. You can't put yourself first. So, put yourself first. You can't be confident. So be confident. You can't challenge. So challenge. You can't dominate. So dominate. You can't flex. So flex. You can't fill a stadium, so fill that stadium. You can't be emotional, so be emotional. You can't take credit. You can't speak up. You can't be so ambitious. You can't break records. You can't have any fun. You can't make demands. You can't keep score. You can't stand out. Whatever you do, you can't win. So win.
Regretfully, this is not Nike's. Fans of the first offense have been following Caitlin Clark's tendency to be pushed, marginalized in favor of other. Juju Watkins is a gifted player, but star treatment is a more recent name. While lacking Caitlin's influence on the match, but Wilson has essentially turned into the brand's poster child, yet AJ's achievements are Unquestionably, Caitlyn is the breakthrough artist who is more than just a player. She is a role model for young children. Her shirts are being purchased by grown males, and even if her games are become major events, she is being treated like a background by Nike, character in her own narrative.
Wilson goes to Connecticut. That stadium is as empty as it's ever been. Juju Watkins plays home at USC. That stadium is as empty as it's ever been. Stop it. But this is what we're talking about, right? I just had to get that off my chest.
Did you manage to capture? This is how Nike recently released after more than 25 years, a Super Bowl advertisement. Years that are causing everyone to talk, and there are many female athletes there. Includes Caitlin Clark and other WNBA players. AIA Wilson demonstrating how they dominate the game with their unwavering grind, except Caitlin Clark, and the advertisement for AIA Wilson also includes other extraordinary abilities such as shakery. Juju Watkins Richardson, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jordan Charles, who recently DOI, a Grammy-winning rapper, on the microphone. The commercial's message is as daring as a game-winning shot in the past. I'm tired of this social media myth, flooded with posts asking why it wasn't. Caitlin Clark stated, and Nike continues to, playing favorites, and Nike is visible to us. That no one would notice, they believed incorrectly.
Did you catch this? Here's how Nike just dropped a Super Bowl commercial after over 25 years that's got everyone talking. And it's packed with female athletes, including WNBA stars like Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson, showing just how they rule the game with their relentless grind. Now, aside from Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson, the ad also features other exceptional talents like Sha'Carri Richardson, Sabrina Ionescu, Juju Watkins, and Jordan Charles. With recent Grammy-winning rapper Doechii on the mic, the commercial drops a message that's as bold as a game-winning shot.
Nike obviously has a handpick. They push the players with their star strategy, consider appropriate for their brand image while disregarding people who don't follow the rules. And that's the reason why fans are going crazy. Caitlin Clark plays basketball for women currently, but Nike continues to provide the attention to those who aren't creating the same buzz. Think of Nike, LeBron James' first-year selection. Rather than pushing a bench player, that's basically what's taking place here, and Nike may believe that they're making a statement by emphasizing specific gamers. In fact, they're alienating a enormous fan. Why push when base fans are requesting answers? The athletes whose jerseys are being collected. Caitlin's bookcases are dusty, but selling out quickly, so why disregard the player who is shattering stereotypes and records? Nike should reconsider their strategy, as it's not working. Social media went crazy as soon as the advertisement. TikTok rants and deleted Twitter threads, as well as Instagram stories that all shout out Nike's flagrant disregard. As one fan put it flawlessly, much like Nike, averse to wise marketing choices. Someone another commented, how do you leave out the most marketable female athlete? The criticism of basketball isn't only coming from the supporters themselves. Industry insiders and analysts are arguing against Nike's choice too. Caitlin favoring less well-known athletes, and Nike's stock is already having trouble. This dispute couldn't have occurred at a. Even Caitlin's peers are having a rougher time, sensing the pain that certain WNBA players experience. Quietly expressed support for her on the internet, implying that this may not be regarding marketing, it may be individual.
It's, what are the best ads of the year? And there was one that we wanted to highlight, but there was a Nike ad. It's the first Super Bowl ad in 27 years and featured a load of female athletes, including, one of the biggest episodes we've ever done, in Caitlin Clark.
I love Nike commercials. I've been a huge fan of Caitlin Clark since she's been in college. Obviously through the Olympics.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yep.
You can't win, so win.
Yeah. speaking of all the things they say women can't do.
Yeah. If there's one thing I can firmly get on board with is telling a bunch of people who think you can't do something to shove it. I'm all on board with that. That's a great message by Nike.
I'm with that as well.
With some incredible athletes.
A bunch of familiar faces, yeah.
Gold medal winners, freaking champ.
Caitlin's influence, which broke records. The influence of Caitlin Clark on women's basketball has never had such a high viewership. 4 WNBA games during the regular season has increased dramatically since she joined the league. Fever Games is selling out faster than ever before. Prior to, and the cost of tickets is increasing too. This isn't hype, it's close to Super Bowl levels. Her jersey sales are revolutionizing the industry. Every time Caitlin Clark drops a new story, sells out with fans in milliseconds, frantically obtaining anything with her name on it, even if it's not. Just to watch, WNBA fans are tuning in. Her performance is going beyond the realm of sports. Nike had a fantastic chance to take advantage of this momentum instead of decided to elevate athletes who, however, talented people aren't making a difference the way Caitlin is. This is a perplexing choice, as well as one that costs them money. Let's face it, Nike's marketing staff is dropping the ball. How can you fail to notice the player who is actually preserving the WNBA headlines as though they're purposefully disregarding the most evident? The cash cow is seated just in front of them. Just the Caitlin Clark jerseys might have been Nike's treasure trove instead. They are keeping an eye on rivals like Adidas, and circling like sharks are Under Armour, poised to intervene, and if Caitlin signs with a competitor's brand, the game will be finished. For lovers of Nike's WNBA marketing approach, are already making assumptions about Caitlin, could become independent and start her own. 22 is a brand that outsells Nike's whole women's collection in a single weekend. Caitlin Clark is. She's not only a basketball player, though, a cultural phenomenon that she has an impact on. The game goes beyond the hardwood as she has succeeded in drawing attention to herself, of viewers that wouldn't normally. From her jaw-dropping buzzer, the WNBA, beaters to her calm poise beneath. Caitlin's pressure has turned into the best example of what contemporary women's basketball represents: tenacity, skill, and marketability. Even though they are the face, Nike is still acting in support of this effort, as if she's a passing occurrence.
Nike is looking ahead.
We had Caitlin Clark here today.
Clark this morning.
I think you saw that. So she was in yesterday working on her signature shoe that we'll launch, and we're working on her logo and her design of her logo.
She signed an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal with Nike in April of last year, making it the largest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player. What was the motivation behind that, and what impact do you think it will have on women's sports, certainly on the WNBA?
This was observed by more than just sports fans, casual viewers, including those who are not. The basketball community acknowledges Caitlin's significance that her games consistently elicit popular discussions on social, memes, and media related to her well-known plays spread more quickly than Nike's PR answers. She is a multi-generational sportswoman, and the figures support that. Record-breaking attendance rose, crowded arenas, and retail sales each time she touches the ground, if any. brand possessed a modicum of commercial acumen. They would be riding the wave of Caitlin Clark. For whatever it's worth.
The defender right there's Clark working around Fletcher, Caitlin.
However, Nike seemed adamant about considering Clark to be a benchwarmer. Conversely, companies like Adidas and Under Armour is probably drafting up money. Offers made behind closed doors with full knowledge of well enough for Caitlin to alter their overnight women's basketball divisions. Nike might leave if they don't change their ways soon. Forever remembered as the company that allowed the WNBA's most marketable athlete evade their fingers.
It would happen. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just when. Now that it's here and we've had some time to kind of reflect back on the career of Caitlin Clark, you got to see it up close and personal. So did I. I know we were both so fortunate to be able to experience it in person. What's your biggest takeaway from the impact she's had on the game that still remains?
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple of different layers to this. One, I think Caitlin Clark played the game in a way we had never seen before. She combined an incredibly high-level skill set with an entertainment factor, with these deep logo threes. Maybe Steph Curry is the person we would put in that conversation, but because of that entertainment factor, she drew an entirely new audience to women's college basketball. You had to see Caitlin Clark play, whether you were one of the tens of millions watching.
Let's talk about the elephant in the Ja Wilson's room. She's an incredible 3 MVPs for an athlete with a stellar resume, a signature sneaker, and championship victories. Deal that simp represents her power. Nike is perfectly entitled to support a Ja. But the problem isn't that Nike is advertising a Ja, it's the obvious marginalization of. In the process, why does Caitlin Clark? Nike must be any of the two. It seems that strategy is pitting these two stars in opposition to one another instead of enhancing both. Think of the powerhouse marketing possibilities of a collaborative effort, showcasing the dual aspects of women's basketball as a symbol of established Caitlin as the unstoppable and domination rising star, but rather than establishing a cohesive story, Nike has selected Caitlin Clark's division. Supporters are observing the trend each time a JW receives a significant campaign. Caitlin is easily overlooked. This isn't to deny AJ the recognition she has received. Her flowers, but in actuality, there is potential for more in women's basketball. More than one celebrity, and Nike's inability to take advantage of this chance. Similar to a self-harming wound.
Since the Marina Mabry trade, and she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlin Clark for 3.
Social media is a strong force, and Nike senses, within hours of the advertisement airing, its anger. In contrast, Caitlin Clark was popular. On all media, fans analyzed each frame of the advertisement, demonstrating how the jersey worn by Caitlin was displayed without a memes poured in when her name was mentioned, with captions such as Nike's concept of equality mentioning everyone but the best player. The criticism wasn't limited to Facebook groups on Twitter that are devoted to basketball for women was ablaze with posts from irate users and screenshots they shared. Even the developers of TikTok joined the fray. Includes films explaining the reasons behind Nike's. Not all marketing blunders are tone deaf, yet blatantly disrespectful to some. Influence even demanded boycotts, asserting that Nike's failure to appropriately admit that Caitlin was a sign of a greater problem of partiality inside the sports sector.
Women's basketball, one of my favorite topics to dive into. When I started this channel back in March of 2023, I had no idea that this would grow into such an amazing community. And since then, just about every day, I have been breaking down just about everything you need to know about women's basketball, the good, the bad, and the downright controversial. And y'all, 2024 gave us all of that and more. So, awesome people of the internet, let's recap and dive in to the most memorable moments of 2020.
Nike's public relations team probably rushed to manage the damage while containing the fallout. Goes only so far when the general public's anger is already boiling over. Moment, people have expressed their opinions and they Want Caitlyn to get justice, whether Nike? Listeners are yet to be determined.
When you're talking about GOATs of the W, I need my name to be up there, at least top 3. Like, that's my goal, is like, I want something like, when you're thinking of women's basketball, when you're thinking of the W, I want my name to be on it.
Come on, tell them, Asia, tell them.
Takes, like, whatever it needs to get there, whether it's the rings, whether it's the accolades individually, like, I want to be up there in that category.
You on your way. You don't feel none of the pressure, though? No bullshit. You on, like, some LeBron shit with what you accomplished at such an early age. You're on pace to really break a ton of records. No pressure?
It's just fun.
Yeah.
This is like my life. I love it. I love to hoop.
Caitlyn Clark's treatment by Nike isn't simply a snub, but it's a huge missed chance to envision a signature Caitlyn. The Clark show line comes with special drops of merchandise that would sell out in minutes, of photo ads that celebrate her historic accomplishments with phrases that capitalize on her perseverance, and the potential of star power is boundless. Nike, however, is happy to coast on out-of-date marketing techniques. Not to mention the overwhelming demand supporters of Caitlyn's goods have been demanding genuine jersey shoes, the signs that independent vendors have even began making Caitlyn's unofficial to close the gap and make money. Clark merchandise. Nike twitches its thumbs, but how a multi-billion-dollar business might fail to identify such a blatant cash cow is the missed revenue is incomprehensible. Not only harms Nike, but also denies fans the opportunity to completely celebrate their Caitlyn is my favorite player at all times. Nike has the potential to make history, have profited from instead of transferring the focus to their rivals on a silver platter.
WNBA sensation Caitlyn Clark has scored numerous honors for her skills on the court, and now she can add another title after an incredible rookie season, Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year. Clark was awarded the league's Rookie of the Year award after a record-breaking season. She was the first rookie to be named the All-WNBA first team since 2008 and broke the league's single-game and single-season assist records. But Clark did more than just dazzle on the court this past season. She has quickly become one of, if not the most popular stars in the WNBA, and the league as a whole has benefited. Sports media company Boardroom says the WNBA was the fastest growing brand in the United States this year.
The circumstances get even more striking when we make analogies to how LeBron James is treated by male athletes. Wore a trademark sneaker throughout his first season. After receiving his pants, Stephen Curry, quickly after exploding upon the scene, these sportsmen received their flowers in advance, with brands acknowledging their potential before they ever arrive at. Considering their primes, why isn't Caitlyn being treated the same way she has already demonstrated her ability to move her influence on the sport is unquestionable, and she alone brought women's basketball to a new level heights. But Nike's advertising choices imply that they either don't value her or may decline to accept.
It's amazing, what Caitlyn's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And the one thing that I really love about her, she loves giving, so she's put the work in. And even, throughout, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her, and just keep showing up and keep getting better every single game. So her future is super bright, and being a veteran in the industry for a long time, it's pretty cool to see that and move on to the future.
It to take a Caitlyn Clark in the breather. Indiana has truly embraced her shoulders to be more combative, offensively.
All right, so here's what's up. Caitlyn Clark continues to dominate both on and off the court, proving time and again why she's one of the most talked about names in the WNBA. I'm not here to get bogged down in every minor detail of the endless chatter because her impact goes far beyond the noise. What really matters is the bigger picture, especially when it comes to how Nike is handling the marketing for one of women's basketball's brightest stars.
This disparity indicates a greater problem in sports marketing, the propensity to minimize the accomplishments of female athletes. In the event that Caitlyn were a man, rookie in the NBA, she would undoubtedly already having a shoe deal. It's time for brands should cease using justifications and begin caring for female basketball players with the dignity they have gained.
Oh, okay, it's not that Caitlyn isn't good at basketball, it's that it's not fair. And it's racist. Okay, why would Nike care about what's fair and not about what makes money? The perfect comparison Ethan actually makes in his article about this: Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan. Duncan, obviously the better player, but AI dominated shoe sales. And no one said it wasn't fair, we got it. In fact, Nike tried Tim Duncan shoes twice and canceled them for bad sales. And you know who didn't care about this? Tim Duncan. But if
Nike doesn't make a change, Caitlyn Clark might very soon take her skills elsewhere, such as at Adidas, as well as Under Armour, are definitely observing this dispute develop, probably getting ready to make their pitches when Caitlyn's discussions for an endorsement turn around. And to be honest, who could be at fault? She jumped ship, but Caitlyn doesn't. Nike needs her charisma and talent. Marketability speaks for itself. Fans will follow her everywhere she goes. If Nike is unable to identify the golden opportunity directly in front of, another brand will gladly replace them. To cover for Caitlyn's absence keeps rising. One thing is certain: she is a movement as well as a player, and motions don't linger for long, bringing brands up to speed. Whether it's Nike accepts or rejects Caitlyn Clark's, the writing of legacy is already underway, and it's a tale that will not be forgotten. What are your thoughts on Nike's choice to exclude Caitlyn Clark from their most recent? Is this just another advertisement? Tell us about any mistakes or more serious issues in the remarks, and if you'd like additional such high-energy breakdowns, are undoubtedly to subscribe to, like, and share our. Keep checking the channel since Caitlyn's the story is far from over.